Hey, sup, Trago again, and welcome back to the Next.JS 14 series. In the previous video, we took a look at client-side data fetching and how to manage that using React Query. We learned how it helps to optimize our client-side performance and handle complex caching. But today, we're going to talk about API routes, the magic that allows you to handle server-side logic inside your Next.js app. With API routes, you don't need to set up a separate server or backend to handle your requests. So let's dive right into it. First of all, let's open the existing project and create a new folder inside the app directory as API. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a /API/users route where we'll send a request to add a new user in an array and also retrieve existing users from that array. Our first job will be to create a new folder inside the API folder as users. Now, unlike the general rule of creating a page.tsx to render the JSX inside, we'll be making a route.ts. This is important that you name the file as route. Now pay attention to the next steps. First of all, as we'll be storing the users in an array, we can just initialize the array. So you can have constant users equals to empty array. As we're using TypeScript, it's better to define the types, so we'll just create an interface just above the array. So interface user with ID as number, username as string, and let's say created at as date. Now that we have created our interface, we can easily infer the array type. So constant users :user array equals to empty array. Now we can just write export async function and then post. Here are some things to remember. First, the post is the same HTTP post method that we all know about. Second, the post or the method name that we write in the function has to be all caps. And lastly, the method can never be a default export. It always has to be a normal export. So inside the parameters, we're going to write rec and we're going to infer the type as next request. Now inside the function, we're going to write constant body equals to await rec.json. This will automatically extract any application/JSON data that we have in our body from the request. So then we can just write constant user equals to and an object, then ID. We're just going to generate a random ID. Next, we can have the created at as new date. And lastly, we're going to spread the body inside the object. So then we can just write users, the main array, dot push user. And then we have to return a response. So I can just write return next response dot JSON inside it. We're going to pass the user as the data. So we're going to set the status as 201 or 201 and the status text as created. So now logically, this should work, right? But before we test it, let's actually make the route for retrieving all the users. So just over the post request, we're going to write export async function get. Now we're going to be using the get method. Similar to the post method, we're also going to pass the param rec as next request. And inside the function, as a response, we're just going to pass the user's original array inside the data. And obviously, we're going to set the status with 200 OK. And that's it. Now, we could have tested it by writing our own JSX inside general route, but for that, we also need to know how React Query's use mutation hook works. So this will be the topic for the next video. For now, I'm gonna use Thunder client. So inside it, let's create a new request, give the proper route /API/users with post method, and let's fill up the body. So it's gonna be a JSON body, and we'll only be sending the username. So let's hit the send and see we have our response in the console with the new user. Let's create another one and store it inside the array. Now all we need to do is visualize it. So we're going to create a new request with the same URL but with get method. This will not have any body, so let's test the endpoint. See, we have a list of all the users. Currently there are 2, but yeah, similar to how we did dynamic routes for general pages, we can create a ID wrapped with third brackets file to handle users based on their ID. But I can't currently show you the example because to get the user by ID, we needed to have the users array set globally. Once we learn how to set up DB, we'll try that out. And that's a wrap for today. We now know how to create and interact with an API route built into the Next.js app. In the next video, we'll talk about how we can use these same API routes to create and retrieve data through our pages. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. But before I finish up, I want to let you in on something exciting. If you're enjoying the content and want to support me, you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/itsdrvgo. As a subscriber, you'll get early access to all my videos a day or two before they go public on YouTube. Plus, you'll be able to see exclusive behind the scenes, get sneak peeks of upcoming projects, and much more. It's a great way to stay ahead of the curve and get involved in shaping future content. Also, if you have any questions or need help with anything we covered, don't hesitate to join our Discord server. I'm active there and it's the best place to connect with me and the community. We'll find the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.